going.
Article 2 is having town meeting authorize the Board of Selectmen to negotiate a tax payment agreement for solar on the landfill, and Mr. Hale is here to help with that. And Jeff. Mr. Hollins.
Thank you, board members. This is a project that the town tried to accomplish in 2014, 2015. The town went out to bid. The high bidder was chosen. We went through 2 years of negotiation with that bidder, and that bidder failed to get financing after both Selco and the town spent several $1,000s in legal bills in preparing the necessary documents and engineering drawings to have that project done. The state's solar program was due to expire in January of this year, 2017, so we weren't optimistic that we would have an opportunity to get another project built on the landfill. They announced in March that they're extending their program through March of 2018, albeit with some reduced funding on the subsidies that developers would get. I approached the town manager in March and said, this is our last chance at it. He hemmed and hawed and said, do you really want to do this again? And I said, yes. So I started to drive the bus this time. I told Kristen and Jeff that they wouldn't have to do too much. I was wrong. They spent a lot of time on this, and I'm indebted for the hours that they've spent on this project. But what we have before you is a warrant article. The town went out to bid again in May, and we selected a vendor, again based on bid. And that vendor is Kenyan Energy in partnership with a company called M+W, who would be the developer who would build out the project. They built the project for the developer across the street at the intersection of Cherry Street and Route 20. So we're now in the phase where we went before the planning board last week. We received conditional site plan approval. We're gathering documents, and Jeff has taken the lead on that part to get permitting through the DEP for post-closure use on top of a landfill. And we will be going to the town meeting for the tax agreement approval in September. And basically, the revenue to the town comes from 3 sources. One is real estate taxes, and that is based on, would be $2,500 per megawatt generated from the solar array. And we're projecting a little over 4 megawatts for this project. So you factor about $10,000 per year, and that has an escalator of 2.5%. There is a pilot payment that the town would get at about $12,500 per megawatt, and the last payment would be a land lease, which was what the bid was all about, and the land lease would result in $3,666 per megawatt. So over 20 years, this is a 25-year deal as opposed to a 20-year deal, which was the last project. The town would see revenue in the tune of slightly over $2 million for the project. And so if the town meeting approves the financing payment tax structure, I think it's really authorizing the Board of Selectmen to enter into an agreement for the tax structure. The DEP process would be running in parallel, and we think we could potentially break ground optimistically in mid-October if all the ducks are in a row. We have to be commercially viable by March of 2018 in order for the developer to get the solar RECs that the state program offers. And that program does expire in March of 2018 with no programs on the foreseeable horizon in municipal territories. So, that's what we're here for. Selco will buy the energy generated from the project at a decent price. The last proposal, we had the energy at 5 cents a kilowatt hour with a 1% escalator per year. In this project, we're paying slightly more in order to get the project done, 5.6 cents, but it's fixed throughout the 25 years. So in the first 12 years or so, it's more expensive than the first project, but then that changes in around year 13 because there's no escalator.
Okay, very good. Questions from members of the board? So the only action the town meeting is being asked to do is to authorize the board to negotiate this tax agreement.
Yes.
Everything else is either doesn't require town meeting action or has been covered when we did it
Correct.
I'm going to call the first time.
Yes. And the payment is less, candidly, but the first project couldn't get financing,
Right.
so it kind of speaks for itself.
And with regard
And it was bigger.
with regard to the easement,
That's not part of the solar project.
okay. Okay. I'm sorry, any other questions? No. Okay.